A thread by Soul War. I am speechless, but not wordless. Last night I saw one of the cop riots. Antifa claims always happen when they are peacefully protesting because all cops are bastards. ACAB. I watched it live via Facebook streamer Trey Stewart. I have no idea how long that footage will be up, as this footage does not cover BLM in glory. Two other streamers I was monitoring after the cop riot either deleted their footage or never posted it, realizing just how awful the optics were for BLM. The setting is Thurston, Oregon. This was a Black Unity protest march that decided to march through a middle class residential neighborhood. What everyone had predicted happened. Antifa and BLM would move from Portland and begin their vile antics on suburban streets. Many of the homeowners came outside as counter protesters waving American flags. Understand, to this crowd of utter lunatics, the American flag is alt-right, is white supremacism, is Nazi. At first, feeling superior in their numbers, Black Lives Matter just insulted and moved on. Some groups of BLM and residents formed as they passionately debated and argued, while the majority of the protesters chanted and milled about, stopping briefly at every intersection to block traffic. These interactions, although spirited with displays of genuine anger, were peaceful. This was Americans talking out their differences, and I was actually happy to see that despite the clear assholishness of blocking traffic. But as the minutes passed, the mood of the leaders and organizers of the march was turning decidedly ugly. They clearly hate all Americans. Some of these sidewalk debates were descending into more and more animated arguments. A lot of these residents were open carrying, and I began to worry about escalation. The residents only wanted to complain. However, there was no fighting. But the mood of the mob was souring. This is an example of what was unfolding in those streets yesterday evening. A mother and her daughter stand on their driveway as over 100 people. I guess. Hi. Oh, now you wanna hang out with me. This is an example of what was unfolding on those streets yesterday evening. A mother and her daughter stand on their driveway. Over 100 people mock and insult them. This is the epitome and result of 20 years of critical race theory and identity politics. White equals guilty. One of the mob's leaders singles them out for venomous abuse with a torrent of psychobabble. These residents are middle class and white, so they are exactly what BLM, a Marxist org, was created to destroy. The woman's silence is violence, you see. They offend simply by existing. It goes on for 7 minutes. The insaniac is doing the Marxist equivalent of speaking in tongues, a running word salad of pure hate. The leader is working herself into a rage, upset, I suppose, because the women haven't run over to kiss her ass and apologize for being alive. The streamer takes a close-up during the tirade of breathless hate. Although the daughter is angry and clearly a bit frightened, the mom is utterly unfazed. Eventually, having told them off for no other reason than being there, the BLM organizer moves the mob on down the street. They go 2 more blocks, chanting and yelling at residents, many of whom are wearing or waving American flags, Nazis, before reaching a police roadblock. Thurston police are adamant the road is closed, and they tell the marchers to either retreat or go right. The mob gathers at the barricade instead and begin demanding that the cops move aside. The cops, how about no? The mob, Ree! Some of these officers look nervous, as they are easily outnumbered 7-1, but they hold their ground and tell the mob to retreat or disperse. The road is closed. Besides the insaniac woman, there's the male leader of the mob who begins shouting, "We are many, you are few," which is utterly correct and also completely meaningless. The Thurston police have every right to block a road on streets that they police. There's an open road to the right. Not good enough. The organizers of this march are agitators. They led the mob here to make happen what is about to happen. The mob refuses to press on peacefully and take the open road. Their mood turns apoplectic as the leaders lead chants and tirades, ensured to gin up anger. The agitators led the mob to this barricade, then began whipping the crowd into a frenzy. The police, sensing what's coming, bolster their line and prepare to repel all boarders. It happens quickly. A frenzied BLM agitator kicks one of the officers. Instant cop riot. And here's your cop riot. Okay, sorry. I don't mean to laugh. This guy in the green shirt's like a leader guy. All right, cops get pissed and start beating ass. You get the idea. This woman tries to interfere with the arrest with about 20 other entitled Marxist brats. An officer tries to discourage her with a shove from his baton. She loses her shit and unleashes her inner 3-year-old, who still has significant daddy issues, and actually tries to take his baton. The officer punches her out of frame, and then 2 rioters are dragged away from the mob and arrested. These people are truly insane, and this is what police nationwide have been having to deal with. Their restraint is amazing. The lunatic in the green shirt screams every command this police supervisor gives. Supervisor, get back! Lunatic, get back! Supervisor, stop! Lunatic, stop! In 7 to 10 major cities right now, agitators like this have been attacking cops for weeks. It's all being done to local police and federal officers to provoke a massacre. They're searching for that one cop who, under threat and stress, snaps and then gives them the martyrs their cause has been desperately looking for months. America's cops are human and amazing. They've undergone this since May 26th, this, without anything like that happening. The mob is now completely enraged. They demand those arrested be released. Not happening. Thurston police stop giving commands and de-escalate. The angry mob mills around for 15 more minutes before sullenly doing what they should have done in the first damn place. Taken the open road to the right. Antifa and BLM will call this a cop riot upon peaceful protesters just exercising their First Amendment rights. But the mayhem is far from over. They begin taking their rage out on homeowners, confronting residents on their own property. Now, most of the footage I saw was on Adam Costello's live stream. Trey's gal pal Jasmine was injured in that brawl trying to free rioters, so he stopped streaming and I went to Adam's. His footage is gone. Either he deleted it from Facebook or it was never uploaded. It was bad. A lot of these Thurston residents were standing on their lawns or driveways with American flags, and many were open carrying handguns. This is some of Trey's later footage. Adam's footage showed at least 8 or 9 separate fights or assaults. The residents had already had enough of these goons, and then the goons confront them, screaming abuse. As you can see from these later pics from Trey's stream, these counter-protesting homeowners are actual men. By the time Trey got back to the march, read riot, it was 70 minutes later. Even then, the mob hadn't learned its lesson. They were still confronting, screaming at residents who were simply not taking it. Angry words and fists flew. I expected to hear gunshots at any moment. The rioters were enraged at all the flags. The residents were indignant and fearless as they pushed back and asserted this was their home. Get lost. Trey tried to question some of the residents. They took one look at his gear, Antifa armor, and told him to fuck off. Trey spluttered. Do you know who I am? He tried to impress upon them that he was a journalist. Again, they saw right through that. Fuck off. Trey grew upset and demanded someone tell these guys who I am, then chalked their hostility up to, you guessed it, racism. Trey moved on. Moments later, an angry resident charged and shoved this BLM rioter. The woman had hit her head very hard on the pavement, a significant injury. An Antifa medic and police gather as the female resident runs off. She was taken to a local hospital. This is a glimpse into what BLM and Antifa are fomenting on America's streets every night in some of our biggest cities. The Democrats are determined to foment not just chaos, but death. They want a massacre to blame on President Trump. BLM is starting, as predicted, to go into residential neighborhoods to stoke the fires of hate with confrontation and violence. As Democrats, governors, mayors wait patiently for that inevitable one cop to lose his cool. When it does happen, the joke will be on them. Americans hate riots, despise rioters. It seems incredible the left doesn't understand this, but then again, we were just witness to AG Barr's hearing on Capitol Hill. They've sailed off the map, and we now get to watch them be devoured by dragons. Thousands of federal teams have not been idle. 56 Joint Terrorism Task Force offices activated, and no, we have no idea what they're doing. I find that comforting, actually. Trump knows what he's doing. Democrats are no longer rational people. The mainstream media are no longer rational people. Our chosen president is the epitome of rational, and he has an incredible array of talents, resources, and personnel to deploy. The Democrats never had a chance. Whatever harm, destruction, and loss of life they managed to create is sad. But President Trump has prepared the battlefield carefully to ensure victory. The more irrational the left becomes, the easier he will defeat them. Then Americans can rejoice in the bounty of peace and plenty. We will have months of insanity to slog through before November. Remember, the mainstream media is now a deliberate attack on your morale and sanity. They've lost theirs, and now they're coming for yours. Don't give it to them. Stay calm. Stay defensive. That's how we'll win the soul war. To support Brent Cates' works, you can donate any amount at paypal.me/Brent Cates. Thank you.